Alright, I'm going to try to do this quick. Selling guitars, basses, amps, drums on Craigslist. How to do it, and there's a right way and a wrong way. We've all seen the wrong way, where there's a filthy guitar laying against a bed and there's clothes everywhere and garbage everywhere and the picture's blurry and you're not going to sell anything. Here's the way to sell stuff on Craigslist. For one, be specific about what you have. Here's an example. Fender Stratocaster, Lone Star Strat, humbucker single coil, Sienna, Sunburst, whatever. Be really specific about it. And you can always find out on the serial number. Most guitars have the serial numbers here. Like this old Kramer. This serial number, you can go online and find out. This old guitar is from 1980. 32 years, wow. Be specific. And nowadays, if you copy and paste stuff from the original manufacturer, like the specifications, you might get flagged for that nowadays. But you want to write down the specifications of the guitar. Be specific without going into too much prattle about everything, because it could end up being a really long, people will wonder why is this guy going on and on. And I might have been guilty of that. But I like information. When I sell a guitar, I might go like this and figure out the fret height and tell somebody, I've dressed the frets and they're .048 high or whatever. I like to be specific. Condition. Be honest about the condition so you don't waste your time. I recently took a 37-mile trip to go see a Gretsch. The guy said he took it out of a box, played it a few times, it wasn't for him. As close to new as you could get. Well, it was covered with dirt. It had, like his greasy hands, it had grease encrusted all over the fretboard. Frets were worn down, was scratched up. I didn't buy it. So be specific. If it's been altered, tell the people it's been altered. That's a good thing to do. Like this guitar, I altered it. I changed the switch, the coil tap switch, but I saved the original one. It's 32 years old, probably more than that. I thought if I ever sell this and somebody wants it, they'll have that switch. And I don't know if you can see, I altered the pickup cover right there. Took out a little bit of wood. I can lower that pickup now and adjust the truss rod. Those are good things to let people know. Of course, don't do that if it's a valuable guitar or old. Too late for this old Kramer. All right. Now, if there's an issue with the guitar, you should tell the person too. If the frets are worn right down, it won't even hardly play, and the nut's broken in half. Because you got to be honest with people. You don't want to get a reputation for being a liar. Especially if somebody drives a long way and they're having a bad day and you've screwed them over and they've spent like 5 gallons in gas to come to see it, they may be a little ticked off. Okay, now here's another, this is one of the most important things. Take really clear pictures, but you have to clean the guitar first. And here's a couple of things you can use to clean your guitar. Some spots are hard to clean. You can get if it's fairly clean, you can get the dust out. A brush gets a lot of junk off the bridge. If you have a rosewood fingerboard, you should be doing that every so often. The chrome parts, you could use a little chrome polish on there. Right? This on the body, this works wonders on the body. Make sure you clean it with a damp rag first. But this really it looks awesome. If it's got scratchy pots, well, learn how to do something. Buy some of this stuff with the little red stick thing and shoot it into the pots. Clean them up a bit, like my sound effects. Same with it if you have an amp. Of course, if you're afraid you don't know what you're doing with the amplifier, you may not want to do that. Especially if it's a tube amp, the capacitors can kill you dead. Even if it's been turned off for a couple days, you got to be careful. One thing about an amplifier is, here's a nice little tip for you. On the top of most amplifiers, they get dusty, and they have that grain. They found me, I don't know how. They have that like grain, and it gets all dirty. Use a toothbrush, clean it out, get all that clean. And then where the Tolex is ripped, and you can see the plywood, black magic marker. It makes a world of difference. Go over it with some of this. But don't make it super wet and then take the picture. It looks kind of ridiculous. Just go over it with that. Let it sit for a little bit and take your picture. That makes all the difference. Good pictures and clean what you're trying to sell. Another thing, keep a record of people who have lied to you, jerked you around, wasted your time. Don't deal with them twice. It's not worth it. That's really important. And when the money starts getting high, you should, if you're going to see something, and you're taking money with you, you should take one of your buddies with you, or meet in a really public place, not at the person's house. The same thing, giving out somebody's. If you're selling a guitar on Craigslist, don't tell if you do have a lot of. I used to have a lot of equipment. I don't anymore. But if you do have a lot of equipment, don't tell the person on the phone, oh, I've got a '57 Strat and a '68 Les Paul reissue or something. Don't tell them your long list of stuff, because they might be setting you up. You never know. Got to be careful. I recently got a pit bull, so that's my little alarm system, and the house alarm too, But just be careful who you bring to your house and where you meet somebody, because there's a lot of losers out there. I think that pretty much covers it. I could probably go on for who knows how long, but those steps will help you sell stuff. Here's a little example before we go. This was about 9 years ago. I bought a S10, Chevy S10 pickup truck. It would hardly run. The interior was missing some parts, and you could get it started, but it would barely run. I didn't want to get too into it, so I bought it for $400. I detailed it. I cleaned under the hood. I cleaned the heck out of it. I spent 8 hours cleaning it. I sold it for $1,000. I made $600 that day just cleaning it. And people, it's the same thing with guitars. If they're filthy, if they look awful, who's going to want to buy it? So be specific. Talk about the condition. If you've altered it, tell the people. If it has issues, tell them. Take good pictures. Have it clean. Keep a record of the losers, and be careful when the money gets high. Those are the main things that you can do. That's it. Give you a shot at this baby. 32 years old. Still rocking.